All right, well, howdy folks, and welcome to another episode. We are headed south, trying to get out of the snow. I'm going to put up a little graphic here, and it's phenomenal how much snow cover the western United States has right now. It's just been an incredible year, and hopefully it's going to offset some of the drought issues that we've all been facing. But the downside of that is it's a challenge to find places to go and explore without dealing with heavy snow. And so we're going to head to a little pocket shown on that map that seems to have the least amount of cover. That's the plan, though. The downside is we might run into some mud, but we'll figure that out as we go. I'm also going to be meeting up with my good friend Caleb with Get Lost Overland, which has been on the channel several times, flying solo this time. Just a guy's trip with him and a new friend named Matt. All right, let's get on down the road. I'm about probably an hour away from meeting up with the guys, and then we're going to put our heads together and figure out where to go. And if it's a little loud in here, I put a new exhaust on. So if you didn't watch the previous episode, the whole thing was just mostly dedicated to garage stuff. It's different. It's very different. Not super loud at cruising speeds. Not sure I love it yet, but we'll test it. I'll let you know a little more details as we get on down the road here. Speaking of new items to test, due to increasing issues with Gaia GPS, I'm switching things up in the navigation department and experimenting with new options that will hopefully be more secure and stable for our demanding use case. So today, somewhat out of desperation, I've brought along our Garmin Tread XL to see if the latest updates have improved the user experience. Stay tuned for more on this massive unit. With my travel companions making a cannonball run from Texas in a single day, we had picked a rally point to link up at before assessing the trail conditions. I ended up arriving a bit early, and so decided to try and scout out our camping options before they arrived. Needless to say, we failed on avoiding the snow for our first night, but that's okay. It's almost always a welcome challenge. With a few areas definitely crossed off the list due to extra deep snow, I heard Caleb and Matt get into radio range, and so retraced my tracks to the meetup point to discuss our options.
Oh man!
Howdy, stranger. What's going on? How you doing?
Ready to get out of the car.
I bet.
How you doing?
How's it going, brother? Hey, how you doing? Good to finally meet you.
Kevin, Matt.
After exchanging brief pleasantries with these weary travelers, we decided to go and camp nearby in the snow instead of tacking on even more pavement time to an already long day.
This might take a minute.
Take your time.
I think clearance is the issue now.
Yeah, you're on your skids. Just keeps getting deeper too. With an entertaining 100 yards of travel to camp, it was time to get some dinner cooking, but not before I noticed something strange out of the corner of my eye. The Garmin tread had decided to somewhat self-destruct and warned of possible data loss and impending doom. Well, I had hoped, come on, focus, that this was going to be a viable solution, but it's not looking good for the tread. May be corrupt. Erase all your data. Let's try again, maybe. To be continued. You see, my search for a fresh navigation solution was not off to a great start. Thankfully, the unit successfully rebooted, but not before giving me pause about my choice. But that was soon forgotten as we stamped down a solid camping and cooking area and whipped up a tasty snack while the main course was being prepared. Your gargantuan bottle. And speaking of prepared, these Texas boys came loaded for bear.
That's like 2 months worth, right?
Yeah.
I guess things are truly bigger in Texas. What you cooking?
Steak, potatoes, and asparagus.
Oh man. Okay, I guess.
Hashtag first world problems, right?
All right. Roughing it out here, folks. Is that a machete?
Sure.
It's a tater machete. You just stand back and whack, whack, whack. Go full Muppets on it.
Youngest birdie, great outdoorsy.
Are those organic?
Yes, absolutely.
All right. I don't know. They're growing organic dirt.
Yep. That'll do. That'll eat all night long, boys.
At 8 o'clock.
Morning.
Morning.
How'd it go?
Great.
Yeah?
Slept really good.
Yeah? Snug as a bug in a Bronco?
Snug as a bug in a Bronco. With a electric blanket.
There you go.
Come back.
There's no animal that.
Over breakfast, we mulled our options for the day's adventure and opted to see how far north we could make it in the snow, just for the fun of it. There was also the possibility of a few epic camps along the way, as our topo map showed indications of some grand overlooks.
I forgot something.
There, I helped. Thanks. Yeah. With our bellies full of potential energy, we aired down from street pressures to something with a little more flotation for the challenge ahead. Little did we know how much we would need that big breakfast and steak from the previous night for what was to come. Present for you.
Hi. Thank you, sir.
Give those a try. Now you're officially sponsored.
Now I'm officially sponsored?
You're officially sponsored.
Hey, didn't I give you the original?
You're the guy who turned me on, so I'm returning the favor. Thank you, sir. All right, well, good morning, folks. We are on the trail. Instead of heading for drier ground, we decided to play in the snow just a little bit today. These Texas boys need to get out here and play in this slushy, mushy mix. I'm out of breath from running these cameras. Snow's about 2 foot deep in places, and good workout. What a beautiful spot. What happened?
I have a problem.
It holds just long enough to get your confidence up and then snaps your ankle.
Little hip out.
That'll do it.
Give it.
About that recovery gear, why we left it out. Yeah, because
You're up top. Yeah.
Yep.
1, 2, 3. Yeah. Teamwork. Making the dream work. And now you can see why I didn't push this when I was solo. Gosh. My boots are full of snow. Even in the ruts, it's so deep. Oh gosh. There it is. So there's 8 inches more snow underneath his tire tread there than what we can see. So even if he gets through, the next person's going to high center too. So without a snow plow, we ain't doing much. Medic!
Man down, man down. Oh yeah, not near as bad.
Much easier. Bronco's turn. 11-day-old Bronco. Oh man, like nothing. Problem solved. It helps having those massive tires on that Bronco. Basically stock weight with just his camping gear inside. Float across it, pack it down. Betty White, as Caleb calls her, is a little heavy in the caboose and much smaller tire footprint. So we got it though. So how old is your Bronco?
It's a 2022, but for me, it's 14 days old.
Yeah.
You feeling better about that purchase now?
Yeah.
I cleared the path for you. Jeez.
You got through the hard part,
Yeah.
didn't you? Well, I guess we'll see what else we get into at this point.
Yep.
Yeah,
Now that we got the right car in the lead.
Yeah. He just 1 point.
It's okay, sir. It's okay.
Uh-huh. Look at those big old fat tires on her. She
Oh,
really,
yeah.
Put her in front.
That's the key, and probably about 1,500 pounds, 2,000 pounds
That's what I
lighter.
was just talking
Yeah.
about.
Yeah,
Because she's every bit of 6,800.
yeah, she thick. She thick. You guys stuck?
Yes, sir.
Hi-ho, Silver to the rescue.
Definitely going to need a shovel for my vehicle.
Well, it appears the drifts have gotten deeper and deeper, and even the mighty Bronco with its 37s has succumbed to its icy grasp. So let's ease old Silver up here and see if we can be of any assistance. I think I'm gonna have to air down to about 8 psi here in a minute, the way things are looking. Currently averaging 3.6 miles per gallon as well. And I slid off the trail. Come on, girl, back on the trail. Come on, girl, back over here. Back over here. Come on, there you go. Oh, not that way. Woo. Well,
I'm stuck. I'm stuck.
oh gosh.
This just got fun.
Well, I was already having fun. It's just funner.
More funner?
Funnerest. Oh yeah,
You may have to winch me back. We'll see.
we can do that.
I'm really stuck.
Are you really, really stuck?
Yeah.
How are you feeling about that purchase now?
Oh, she's fine. If I can just get the 4Runners to catch up to me.
We're going to continually check in with Matt. Let's check in with the new Bronco owner. I think you are high-centered now.
There you go. There you go.
Hold it. Hold it.
Can it?
so first step is done. We got Caleb out of the way. He's running 275s, a little bit smaller footprint of a tire. So we're gonna put silver up here. And obstacle number 2, challenge number 2, is to try and get the Bronco extracted from up there. So I'm just gonna ease across this and see if I can pack down a nice little trail and then get Matt extracted and probably pull out of here. Good workout though. Oh, that's crazy. It's like you found a hole almost.
Passenger, straight.
Whoa, that's deep. Just let it all out. Oh yeah. Did you find the drift of all drifts?
Found a pretty good one. Started dragging diff right back there.
Yeah. With each bend of the trail welcoming our trailblazing Bronco with deeper and deeper drifts, we were beginning to move a bit slower as each round of recovery spent the last calories of our bacon, eggs, and cinnamon rolls.
Nope.
I would just, instead of cutting hard about what you're holding now, just a few degrees, trying to get you back this way. This particular drift came with a hidden ditch that wanted to suck the Bronco off the trail, and after dragging, digging, and traction boarding our friend nearly 50 yards, the grins and laughter began to sound a bit more strained.
No, that's
So we have one bite to dust.
yeah.
Wow, that's the first action tracks I've ever seen tore in two. Wonder how that happened.
I tend to do this with you, don't I?
Yeah, we've broken 5 max tracks and now 1 action track, so it's still 5-1. So
Yeah.
all right, what do you think?
Let's just keep doing that. I got one more underneath there, but I can't get to, and I got one up front that I can't get to. So.
Yeah. That was weird.
What was the problem again?
Yeah, right. So weird. It's weird being on this side of the camera. Thank you.
You're welcome.
You gonna come play around some more with me?
Sure.
Is that the carnage pile?
Only lost one.
Only lost one. Oh,
Only
good.
lost one. It's fine.
Hey, all right.
It's a $300 recovery. It'll be fine.
Still feeling good about this purchase?
Love it.
Good for you on everything.
So far. Oh yeah. Well, that's a first. I've never seen one of these break. That thing had to be rolled in half underneath that Bronco. I just hope it didn't do any damage to the Bronco. When we get you to a good spot, we'll make sure it didn't rip anything underneath the undercarriage loose.
After reviewing the map, we found that there was still another 6 to 10 miles of trail to blast through, and with evening quickly approaching, we decided it was time to turn our convoy around and fight our way back to pavement to reassess our area of operation. But this trail wasn't going to let us go that easy. The disrupted snow was now slick with slight melting, and the divots from our previous extractions were like quicksand, so it was going to take some spurring to our steeds to get them over the hills.
You let up, that was the issue.
Well, I just thought we were done being stuck.
You just had to.
Just had to. One last shot, guys.
Left out.
One last shot. I'll park here. All right, well, I think we've had our fun in the snow today. Gonna pull the plug, head out, run over to Moab, let these guys top off with fuel. I'm still flush. And then probably head a little further north, go see what we can get into. Maybe get out of the snow just a little bit.
With sunlight quickly fading on our hard burn across paved roads to a new area, we had to bail off the main roads to find camp for the night. Since winds were predicted to be in the 20-mile-per-hour range with up to 40-mile-per-hour gusts, we pointed the rigs towards some canyons as shown on our topographical map in hopes of avoiding the oncoming barrage. After a couple of failed attempts due to abandoned, washed out, or dead-end trails, we finally found shelter in a dry wash just as darkness swallowed the landscape. Since it was my turn to cook the next round of supper and breakfast, I quickly began whipping up some blackened Cajun chicken Alfredo for our hungry crew. And it wasn't long before all our stomachs were audibly cheering on the process, which can honestly be slow when you're filming every step. Sorry boys, but you signed up for this when you decided to travel with a digital storyteller.
Alright. Bon appetit.
The next morning, we were moving a bit slow due to our extraction efforts from the day before, so comfort food was again on the agenda with some camp biscuits and sausage gravy before hitting the trails. Since time was of the essence after our lazy start, I opted to forgo the usually relaxing routine of hand grinding our coffee beans and use a seldom filmed method that would make Tim the Toolman Taylor very proud. Can you say more power? What? Again, filming might have delayed this feed, and so my timing on asking about the quality of the fare was either spot on during a ravenous moment.
Oh yeah.
Is that ticket?
Oh yeah.
Or these gentlemen were being a bit too kind in the review.
What's the verdict?
Speechless.
Delicious.
Either way, calories were consumed and we were ready for what was next. And boy, were we going to need it yet again. While laying in bed the night before, I'd sketched out a creative route back to pavement on our trek west, since the surrounding terrain was just a bit too tempting not to explore. My plan seemed to be working as the mostly frozen trails quickly lulled us into a bit of security about our route. That is, until we found a hillside that was facing south into the simmering sun, which meant it was far more thawed out than what we had been running just a few minutes before.
So I'm just going to try to go into low and get red traction control. Yeah, because this stuff I start backing up, it may not want to stop.
I don't think it will. I think we should probably all go ahead and just take a minute and reassess what we're into here.
As Caleb and the lead rig began his ascent of this unassuming hill, it quickly dawned on him that his traction was slipping away when at the halfway mark, the landscape underneath turned into grease. We all felt the pucker factor increase as his forward momentum ended, followed by a gentle slip backwards where he thankfully came to a precarious stop.
Oh, it's real slick here. Wow.
Right there. And it would have been okay if Toyota pulled throttle.
Yeah.
I could have cleaned treads.
All right.
I'm like, ah!
Traction control got us.
Yep.
It was clearly time to investigate and explore our options for the next step. This was what we were hoping to avoid by our relocation to a new area, but this warm hillside caught us all off guard. Since the ground was a literal bed of grease, and taking into account the not-so-friendly embankment to the side, backing off this hill was going to be far more risky than a controlled ascent.
Went to the danger zone.
So, we aired down Caleb's 4Runner in an attempt to finish the last few feet of the hill and regain the frozen ground on the other side.
It's moving.
Yeah, it's 1, 2.
It's doing good with e-brake on.
Yeah.
Don't stop, don't stop. Don't stop, don't stop. Your turn.
That's one way of doing it.
Now, it was Matt's turn in the Bronco. But where his huge footprint was an advantage in the snow just the day before, the flotation here worked against him as he couldn't reach the solid layer just an inch or so below the grease. Thankfully, with some fancy steering work, he also made the ascent with additional points for style.
Nicely done.
Nicely done.
Wow, I have my doubts.
Right.
It's crazy though, because it's not creating like a deep rut. It's just that 1 inch, inch and a half on top.
Yep.
And this is solid where I'm walking.
Next, it was time for Silver to try her hand at this slip and slide section. And so, with the Flowmaster in full afterburner mode, I put the spurs to her and let her run. While these ascents were impressive achievements of machine versus physics, it wasn't the most incredible feat of the day. That trophy belonged to your intrepid cameraman, who made 2 trips up this quagmire with camera gear and 20 pounds of mud in tow. You're welcome, Internet.
Oh, there you go. Little mud removal.
Looks like it's just going to be flat most of the way. Hopefully that's all the drama of the day. Hey, glad we're not coming up this one.
All right, well, we're finally working out of this nasty trail. Now, I do want to point out, if it's within our power, we try to avoid trails that are in that bad of shape, because you're going to leave ruts behind. It makes it harder to travel once it does dry out. And so as much as possible, we try to stay off stuff like that. This time of year right now is the absolute worst, because you can drive for 20 miles on a perfectly good trail, a frozen trail, a rocky trail, and then hit just where all this runoff is coming off some of these caps. Sludge, grease, just like what we ran into. So we're actually making our way back towards pavement now to reset, to relocate, to see if we can't find someplace that's going to be a little more pleasurable to drive. A little ruddy in here. As I was saying, if we can't avoid the snow, so be it. We'll just go get in it. It's a lot cleaner and it doesn't cause ruts to be put in the trail. So let's go see what we can find. Looks like it's lunchtime. All right, a bite to eat and then on to more adventure.
With temps continuing to climb, our decision to relocate even further was confirmed as short sections of the trail began to thaw. We took the most direct route possible to paved roads and aired up for another hard burn to an entirely new region and yet another attempt to find dry trails or passable snow.
Yeah, I don't know, like, it might be best just to bite the bullet, air up, roll onto a new
We go
base.
ahead and air up here. We can run down this. This looks like it's just an old highway, so it'll be.
Let's just air up and then let's go get to the good stuff.
For this air up evolution, I'm testing a new kit that I built for Silver from Airline and Press-In Connectors. I've covered a bit of this kit in a previous episode, and since then I've had nothing but problems after assuming my quality scissors would give me a clean enough cut to assemble a leak-free system. I didn't share this last week, but on my first try, this kit leaked so bad that my already low tires were completely flat before I could even get my inflator up and running.
Really am determined to make this thing work.
This time around, I've finessed the connections a bit and have slightly less leakage, so we'll see how it does for a nearly hands-free airing up process. I'm happy to report that this go-around was much more successful, and once I get home, I'll rework my connections with a proper tubing cutter to continue to improve this configuration.
There it goes.
I'll also let you know how the Lock Inflate auto inflator is working in an upcoming Coffee with Kevin session on Patreon.
Take the long way home, stumble through the streets while the city sleeps and the moon hangs low. See the world through glazed eyes, absurd words and stage lights won't change come sunrise, still waking up alone. Well, I hear you calling and I'll come running, chasing down every corner.
A few hours later, we were reversing the process and airing down for yet another attempt at travel in a fresh area. This time, the roads were still mostly frozen or covered in snow, so we breathed a sigh of relief knowing that we weren't leaving nasty ruts or loading our undercarriages with tons of mud. ongoing threat of gusty winds for the night, we began hunting for another canyon for cover and stumbled upon a historic mining area complete with an abandoned classic car and remnants of a miner's shack. While most mines you find in the West were built in the pursuit of gold, silver, and other precious metals, this area is speckled with deposits of uranium, and during the Cold War, many fortune seekers flocked here, much like the gold rushes of the 1800s, to strike it rich in efforts to enhance the nation's stockpile of U-235, highly enriched uranium for use in warheads and naval propulsion.
Anybody need a bed?
Hey, there you go. You can put that. You can sleep on that tonight instead of in the Bronco.
And if you're wondering if these sites are radioactive, yes, they indeed are, but at very low levels of alpha radiation, which is easily blocked by the thickness of your skin. However, if you inhale or ingest enough of this dust over long periods of time, your organs will begin to see some negative effects. Long story short, it's okay to visit, but you might not want to camp here in a dust storm.
And we make a run again?
Sure. Little JB Weld should be just fine.
Put some 40s on it.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, folks. Well, I think we have found camp for tonight, and with the wind picking up, this is a good find. Hopefully these trees will help. Along with the Horseshoe Canyon, we got some pretty cool mining activity up here on the hill yet again. Remnants of old cars that I almost drove on. That wouldn't have been good. Did you ever watch Hee Haw?
No, not really.
You know who I'm talking about?
Oh, yeah.
There's a segment in there where they always say, "Hey, Grandpa, what's for dinner?"
Hey, Grandpa, what's for supper? Well, tonight you're really in for a treat.
Cheeseburgers.
All right.
Heck yeah.
I want to give you an update on the fire pit that we've been modding, adding all kinds of cool stuff to. And in my video I said I was going to experiment with some media to help retain heat. And let me tell you what, these little guys right here made a huge difference. They were hot for what, almost 45 minutes to an hour after we turned it off this morning. And I could still kind of smell it warming up the cover just a bit when I put it in the rig. So these guys right here, big difference, much more radiant heat, so we're dialing it in.
Pork and black bean dip. Yeah, that's good.
Here comes the wind, boys.
It's gonna be a fun night.
I'm glad we found this Horseshoe Canyon, but I don't know how much it's gonna help.
you want graceful?
Just realistic. Morning.
Morning.
Couldn't time that more perfectly.
Talent this good's just hard to find.
So, what are we cooking up for breakfast?
This morning is breakfast hash browns with Whataburger pork sausage.
What?
Yes, sir.
What a burger. That's gonna feed our army right there.
What a burger. Hope you boys are hungry.
I won't be stingy here.
The whole back, I think, is plenty. Mixed it.
Awesome, Matt. It's perfect cold weather.
All right, so I've been using the Blue Eddy to power Starlink overnight. I found that trying to run both the diesel heater and Starlink off of my onboard dual battery system, which is still AGM, it's not enough juice during the night. So split the duties up, got the diesel running off of the aux system and running Starlink off of this. And then one night of use is roughly about half of the capacity of this guy right here with Starlink. So it's done a pretty good job. And then I'll show you where I've been charging it during the day as we're going down the trail. It's a little bit cumbersome because they give you like a mile of cable, which I appreciate when I actually need it.
We're often asked how we like Starlink for staying connected while on the trail. Truthfully, I prefer to come out here to disconnect from it all. But with the family at home and a new baby, it's been good to be able to check in without the delay that satellite texting devices can struggle with, or the obscene monthly bill for carrying a sat phone. We recently heard that Starlink has disabled the portability function for new customers without upgrading to the more expensive RV plan. But thankfully, we're currently grandfathered in, so at $135 a month, it's been an incredibly reliable method for keeping in touch, uploading short videos, and even watching an Office episode before bed. And while there are some companies out there offering mod services to make this a flat panel for roof rack mounting, this stock configuration has been fine for us, and it goes inside a Condition 1 case with room for our down blankets that double as additional padding. But is it worth the $600 hardware and monthly fee to have broadband in the wilderness? Well, that's purely up to your use case. But in our opinion, it's been very nice to have when connectivity is a must for work or family. But honestly, a satellite texting and SOS device will probably meet the needs of most people.
So I have a 1000 watt inverter underneath this seat, controlled by a switch here in the glove box. So I've got the charger here, and then one thing I've found is that if this is not turned on, it will not charge. Found that out the hard way yesterday. Now it's still in an error 021 code, which means low temperature. So I've got to start up the rig, heat this up before we'll start charging. So there's a whole process involved of keeping this up on the trail.
Looks like they had felt paper on the inside to weatherproof.
Make it a little warmer while you're doing business.
We couldn't just roll out of this mining area without a quick look around, and while the main cabin seems to have disappeared under the snow, there were remnants of an outhouse nearby with a pertinent warning for those who may dare to enter.
See the
Danger gas.
sense of humor hasn't changed much for us guys, has it?
Somebody had a sense of humor.
Up on the hillside, we found the entrance to the uranium mine, which has been thoroughly concreted shut, since apparently the quarter-inch plate door wasn't enough to stop folks from risking life and limb to explore its depths.
Oh wow, concreted is solid.
Yep. With a
seal.
Like I mentioned in last week's episode, these locations are indeed radioactive, but the alpha waves are easily blocked by the human skin. Unfortunately, miners from this era weren't aware of the damage the dust could do when breathed in, and many lost their lives to lung cancer years later. That being said, it's okay to visit uranium mines like this, but you probably don't want to disturb the tailings or stick around in a dust storm.
That's crazy. Part of that collection. So, what you got there?
Stick.
A stick? Where'd you find that?
In my airbox.
don't think it's supposed to go there.
Is this why you've now turned it?
Yeah,
in,
that's now what. That's why
reverse
we're
mode?
backwards.
Okay, so this was broken beforehand, huh?
Yeah.
Or is that the stick that broke it?
No, this was beforehand, I think.
Oh, okay.
So it caught another stick.
Oh.
Firewood.
You just never know, do you?
Never know. Check your stuff.
Good thing your filter caught it.
Uh-huh, yeah.
No. We'd have to rename her Beaver.
Betty the Beaver?
Betty the Beaver. All right, well, good morning, folks. Glorious, beautiful. Oh, sorry, that's too bright. Glorious, sunshiny day here in central Utah. We finally got out of the mud for the most part. The rest of it has either been dusty, which is crazy, or snow. Right now, we're in the snow, and we are headed a little further south, trying to dig into some of these routes that I like to lay in bed and plan and dream about one day, and then I just pull one out of my little wish list whenever I'm in the area and go dig into it. So far this has been a really fun route. Tons and tons of uranium mines, which I don't know, it's just cool. All the artifacts and stuff like that, looking at how these folks used to live out here in what used to be even more so the middle of nowhere, to eke out a living, to peck it out of the side of these mountains. And very, very, very few of them were ever successful digging out the uranium. But wow, we are absolutely striking it rich on this run. This has been fun. I've run with Caleb before, knew he was a great guy, had a blast with him on every trip that we've ever been on, and then he brought in Matt, his friend, who is just equally as awesome. And we've had a blast, even off camera, just hanging around the campfire, sometimes a little bit too late, talking about life and stuff. And it's trips like this that we all need from time to time. I love going solo. I love going with the family. Sometimes you just need a core group of guys or ladies or friends that are just like, yeah, let's go hang out, contemplate life, talk about deep things, and maybe learn something, feel encouraged, be strengthened. It's good stuff.
Just a few miles from camp, we topped a ridgeline, and it was as if we had teleported to an entirely new region, or as if someone had flipped a switch. Before us was what we had been searching for: dry, gorgeous Utah landscape. But that's Utah for you. If you don't like the terrain, just drive 5 more miles and it will change into something entirely different. A few miles after crossing into this wonderland of canyons and brilliantly colored rock, we took a side trail and stumbled upon another spectacular time capsule from the uranium mining frenzy of the 50s and 60s. This particular series of mines was one of the very few successful prospects in this area, and it is still listed as an active mine, though it's been decades since the radioactive yellow ore has been pulled from the shafts dotting the surrounding cliff faces. Even had wallpaper. It is surreal to walk through these structures and try to envision what life would have been like for the miners who lived, worked, and rested here. Apparently, this mining camp was a special place, since it boasted cable TV, dropped down from the cliff above with a single channel, providing entertainment after a long day's work in the mines. Not a few yards from the shacks, an abandoned car sat in the dry wash, having taken its punishment from flash floods and armed vandals for over 60 years. Surprisingly, these antique vehicles are a common sight in this remote area, as it was apparently cheaper to leave them behind than it was to have them towed to civilization.
Mountain Dew!
At any rate, they help paint a picture of what life was like in these canyons, and it makes me wonder what it would have been like back then to cruise these trails in a 4-wheeled boat instead of our current rigs. Maybe that's why they're still here.
Well, we had almost given up on finding dry, dusty trails here in Utah, but we finally found one little stretch that has been pleasurable to drive. No snow to fight, no mud to slog through, just surrounded by gorgeousness. This is like another world. If you've never been here, it's one thing to see it on video, but when you're here in person, oh my goodness. Simply incredible. Just look at it. And it's different. It's different around every corner. There's some sort of new formation. There's some sort of new color. I love this place. I love it.
I don't like off camber like that.
It's your pucker. And you're my safety measure. I probably won't go over if you go over.
That's so comforting. Thanks, Kevin.
Squeeze for Matt.
Think skinny thoughts, Matt.
Imagine working here all day long in and out, knowing that
Dealing with dynamite.
that's all hanging over your head while you're blasting.
Or you're in there, but this all falls and caves you in.
You can smell it. All the little kicking up we've done.
Yeah, getting our daily dose of uranium.
We're coming, sir. We're coming.
With the sun setting on an exceptionally beautiful day, it was time to find camp. And wow, did we ever hit the jackpot on this spot, complete with colorful canyon walls and a babbling river.
I think we found camp, boys.
All right. That sounds mighty peaceful.
Mm-hmm. There's a sign track for the night.
That will do, pig. That will do. Oh.
Looks like sherbet.
What the heck is that?
I don't know. It's sandstone.
Is it?
It just cuts.
Oh, yeah. Crazy.
While we've been taking turns cooking meals on this trip, tonight was fend for yourself night. But unlike Caleb and Matt, I wasn't carrying an emergency ration of steak. I know, quite an unacceptable oversight in my book. But thankfully, Caleb took pity on me as I stood downwind filming, and offered up a tasty New York strip.
Kevin.
Yeah.
There's a steak with some potatoes.
Well,
Yeah.
I can do that. Thank you, sir.
Welcome.
And that, my friends, is the sign of true friendship. For there is no greater act of kindness than sharing a steak. Or at least, I think that's how that goes.
Good living, boys.
Cheers.
Uh-huh. It's a good day.
There's nothing better than unexpected steak.
I don't think Kevin's going to complain about it being slightly overcooked.
The next morning, I was up early to hit the trail and get back to the girls. Sarah had called at 2:30 a.m. with a squalling baby in the background and clearly needed some backup and a good night's sleep. So it was time to say goodbye to the boys and point Silver to the barn. Of course, I couldn't send these fine fellows off without some fresh merch and thanks for an epic trip, great company, and that spare steak. It had definitely been a bit of a grind when it came to finding good ground to travel. But we had ended the journey on a high note with dry, solid trails in this land of awe and beauty. But it was clear to us after this trip that Utah was going to be a mess for a while as the spring began to thaw out record snows, even here in the desert. And so join us next time as we fly further south to give this region a break as it recovers and explore yet another one of our favorite places in the Southwest. If you haven't already, I'd appreciate it if you would hit that subscribe button so you don't miss the next adventure. Thanks again for riding along. And as always, remember to stay curious and leave it better than you found it.
Oh, now I'm recording.
Now you
I nailed the focus though.
You need a ladder?
I mentioned how much I appreciate someone else cooking so I can film.
Thank you, sir.
That's more.
I think you died. Wow, I got quiet.
What happens when you keep factory exhaust, Kevin?
Oh, that's what it is.
You making fun of my snowplow?
No. So without a snowplow. Oh. Yeah. Maybe if you backed into it with big booty over here. Hey, the good news is I saw a couple of free traction boards up the way I can replace it with. I know where some's at. This is the nice part about running the camera. It's like, yeah, I'm busy. You go ahead and dig in that snow.
Sure.
I'll make you look good.
It's worse than a government job. Hold up, hold up.
Almost forgot to put support for it. I just kicked snow down the back of my ass.
You gotta get that. That has to make the cut.
Can't even make Jiffy Pop.
Hold my beer.
Make Jiffy Pop. I mean, that's
The lava rocks are throwing me off.
Oh, yeah.
that's only slightly more complicated than microwave popcorn.
There's a difference. I think they underloaded the gun.
It normally goes much bigger to that.
Yeah. Well, that was a dud.
Well. E for effort, man. E for effort.
E for effort. No, it's not great.
It's not.
No.